Good evening everyone, Brendan from Starpoint Australis with you on this week that was. Thank you for joining us for this little installment of what I've been up to. I won't say that I've been up to heaps, but I have got my energy back, which is fantastic, which means that I'll get into that workshop and build a whole heap of other things. Finish this little newt in the back here as well, so we can get back out and do some testing. So what did I get up to? Well, the biggest thing that I've done, I guess the most tangible thing that I've done, is I've finished the test, the test rig components for the SP3 to be deflection tested. This fantastic little piece of kit looks a little bit interesting, but basically what it is three 50mm extensions, so I can do some tests at various different points along the way. Obviously, this little piece at the end here, you can barely see it. Oh yeah, there you go. You can see it now. So this little piece at the end can screw straight into the actual focuser tube, and then I can push it out and measure so I can get a bit of a plot of the deflection. It also, I think, is more representative of what our equipment looks like when you've got these different interfaces or connection points. What do I say with that? So like the connection point between the off-axis guider and the focus tube, or your adapter, the off-axis guider to the filter wheel to the camera, so on and so forth. Obviously, the most load is always going to be that first connection between the focuser and your equipment. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. So how does this work? Well, I'll just come up a bit closer here. So a 5.2 odd kilo counterweight. It's nicknamed a 5 kilo counterweight, but I measured mine, and I mean, I've put a bigger hole in here because I use this for the 18-inch when I do the fine counterweight balancing. But yeah, so I'd say your 5 kilo counterweight will probably be a little bit more like 5.3, but that's always good, bit of counterweight. So how does this work? Well, this isn't easy, holding a 5 kilo counterweight that far out, but that there is how it will be mounted into the lathe. And then I'll do two measurements. One will be pre, one will be post, adding the counterweight on. So once that does what it needs to, and like I said, I'm aiming for about that 30 to 50 micron at that setup, so what you saw, and then I'll do some measurements backwards into the focuser itself. Now, I've spoken about this before, about some loads and weights, and this is, I would call this silly. There would be very little that you would have a 5 kilo mass sitting at that extension, but it's going to tell us what we need to know about the performance of the system. To give you an idea of different weights and whatnot, so my 12-inch with the 3-inch paracore, so TeleVue paracore, the extra large off-axis guider with all the helical focuser, including the camera, so the guide camera, the filter wheel, which is a 2-inch filter wheel, and it's not a lightweight filter wheel per chance, and obviously the camera and all the other controls equipment on the back of that. That's about, it sits at about 5.1 kilos, between 5 to 5.1 kilos, hence the reason why I thought about 5 kilos at that load. To give you a counterweight or a yardstick to figure out what that kind of looks like for most people, is that you would have a, say, a 2600 or a 268M, QHY and ZWO respectively, plus a 7 filter wheel, 36mm I think is the normal one that people use, the off-axis guider and the corrector, whether it be the Skywatcher one or whether it be a Beta or anything in between, you're looking at around about that 1.4 to 1.5 kilos. So you can tell that there's like a 300, yeah, almost a 300% increase, 250, 300% increase in the weight. Not only that, is that you would mount it as close to the tube as possible, because I mean, even in the 10 inches here, the actual, the focal plane doesn't come out that far. The only reason why my 12-inch comes out as far as it does, as you saw me in one of my posts recently, that I took to it with a grinder to make it fit in the back of the truck. So that's not really normal practice for the bulk of people, but hey, that's what I wanted to do, so that's what I did. I mean, it caused me a lot of troubles afterwards because I went, oh, that didn't quite work, and I had to do a lot. But that's all sorted now. So that's the SP3. The Octans and the Phoenix tents. So they have already begun making the new fabric. Now, my fabric is specialized fabric. It's not just off the shelf, of course. Why would I do something so simple as buy off the shelf fabric? No, the reason why is because of the way, the orientation that I have, the silver facing. I've got UV coatings and polyurethane coatings on the actual fabric itself. It gives the durability, UV stability. In Australia, for those that don't know, that we have a bit of an ozone hole, so the UV here, you walk outside, you can almost hear your skin sizzle. It's pretty crazy. So getting that done, it should be another week and a half, 2 weeks hopefully, and then I'll do a quality assurance event on that, where we'll double check and make sure that it's doing exactly what it needs to do, and it is the right density this time. And then after that, we've got about another 3.5 weeks of actually building the tents, because I have to build the whole thing from scratch again. And then we will be looking to get them shipped out. I won't say shipped because for those of you who have ordered, I'll probably be air freighting them directly to you. I'm still figuring out the logistics of how we're going to do it to get it to you the fastest possible way. So that's the SP3. That's the Octans and Phoenix, which is good to go. I don't think there's too much more. Next weekend, obviously, I'll be doing the testing for the SP3 to finalize and qualify so that I can get that sent out. But other than that, I think that's this week that was a good little wrap up. I'll let you go then. Thank you very much for staying with me and listening through to what we've been up to. And I look forward to seeing you next week. If there's anything that you need as well, or you'd like to see, please chuck it in the comments, and I'll endeavor to answer them within the week. All right then, guys. Talk to you then. Bye.